That's our biggest goal, to make sure kids around the community know these aspects of different culture, different languages.
We all know that when we were kids, we always, look up to the, bigger and older brothers and sisters who are, hanging out around us, and we always feel fascinated by them. And if you join our program, you will be those older brothers and sisters who can serve as like the role model for the kids.
You're listening to Speaking of Language, a podcast recorded at the Language Resource Center at Cornell University. Each week, we explore a topic related to language pedagogy and second language acquisition. This week on Speaking of Language,
we meet members of the team from FLIP, Cornell's Foreign Language Introduction Program, and learn about their plans for community outreach.
Welcome to a new episode of Speaking of Language. I'm Angelica Kramer, the director of the Language Resource Center at Cornell University.
And I'm Sam Lupowitz, the LRC's media manager.
Sam, today we'll flip. We have, great, right? We have some of our colleagues of the Foreign Language Introduction Program, or FLIP, in the studio with us. So let's start out with having each of you introduce yourselves. If you can tell us a little bit about your background with languages and your path with languages, that would be wonderful. Thamora, why don't we get started with you?
Sure thing. Sawadee ka. I'm Thamora Fishel, and I'm the Associate Director of the Southeast Asia Program, which is part of the Mario Einaudi Center for International Studies. But I'm here today because in my previous job, I actually got to teach as part of the predecessor program to this. So I worked with a Burmese undergrad who taught Burmese, and I taught the companion Thai class, and we did a lot of stuff about border crossing and border issues. But I'm helping advise this group of students here today who are kicking it off again post-pandemic under a new name. The previous program was called the After School Language and Culture Program, but now we're hoping to get out into the community in all sorts of new ways. But I'll leave it to them to share with you what they're planning.
My name is Maks Tkachuk. It's maybe a little complicated to pronounce my last name, but it is Tkachuk. You pronounce all the letters. I'm coming from Ukraine, and I've been here for the last 7 years around all the different states all around the country and just having good time, learning languages, sharing my experiences. I personally speak Ukrainian, Russian, and trying to speak English, I guess, for the last 7 years.
Aren't we all?
Oh, yeah. That's what all of us do that, right? And yeah, that's a great experience to be here today and just be here in this program, because I feel like there is a lot to do in the community, and we have this ability to have a real nice exposure for the program. That's our biggest goal, to make sure kids around the community know different aspects of different culture, different languages. So yeah, I think that's going to be a good year for us, and we are looking forward to it.
Great.
So hi, and my name is Irfan, and I come from Indonesia. So yeah, this is my first month in the U.S. Again. So previously I was an exchange student in Florida, which pretty much the same weather with Indonesia, and I cannot looking for I'm looking forward for the winter in Ithaca because I've never experienced winter before. So,
we'll check in with you again on that in a few months and see.
How happy you are.
Exactly.
I love it, but for a while.
Okay, yeah. So my language, I'm speaking Bahasa Indonesia. It's the native language of Indonesia, and then also a dialect in the local region of Indonesia called Javanese. So it's with the V, and it's not the coffee that you're sipping with. It's a Java coffee. So yeah, those are the things that I talk, those two languages the most. And just like Max, I'm still learning on English. So yeah, happy to be here.
Great.
Hi, everyone. My name is Chencong. Like Max and Irfan, I'm also learning English in the U.S. So yeah, it's been the 5th year that I am in the U.S. and I originate from China, and my native language is Mandarin Chinese and Hokkien, which is a dialect widely spoken in Southeast China, Taiwan, and also Southeast Asia. And I'm a third-year PhD student in sociocultural anthropology, and I was the education outreach coordinator for the Flip. So I'm very excited to update you with our new names and also like what the new partners that we're going to be working with in our communities.
Wonderful. So many languages represented at this table today.
That's great. So, welcome to Speaking of Language, Thamora, Chencong, Irfan, and Maks.
Thanks.
Thank
We're
you.
delighted to be here.
Okay, so let's jump into Flip here. Let's start out with a brief introduction of what it is. And we heard already a little bit, but what are the goals and what units are involved again? Who wants to take that question?
They're all looking at me, and I want them to do the talking. But I'll talk about its goals just because it's really important for the volunteers, and we are looking for more volunteers. But the volunteers who are Cornell students or other people affiliated with Cornell, the goal is not language acquisition.
Sure.
Right? We know that if you're out doing this in the community as a volunteer, you're not going to have enough time, and the participants aren't going to have enough time or necessarily focus and resources to really acquire a language. So our objective is to expose kids and other community members, but especially kids, expose them to other languages and cultures. So it doesn't matter what language they're learning about. It's the experience of being exposed to other alphabets, other ways of writing and characters, and people from other cultures or role models of people who've learned languages. So you don't have to be an international student to participate in this program. If you have a basic command of a language other than English, we would love to have you share the fact that you've been able to learn this language. And so if you can count and sing a song or two or come up with a way to play a game in a foreign language, that's a really great way to, in a kind of very substantial, concrete way, expose kids in the community to other parts of the world, but in a way that helps people bridge difference, right? It helps them at least understand that you can learn to communicate with people from other backgrounds. So that's the goal is exposure and planting that seed of wanting to learn a language when you get to college or when you get to a place where you have that opportunity.
Great. So, what does the program look like and where does it take place?
For the past summer, we have been reaching out to more than 20 after-school programs as well as local libraries across the Tompkins County. And more than half of them are willing to work with us and then house our program. And we decided to work with 3 of these institutions across the Tompkins County. One of them is in Dryden Library, another one is Tompkins Public County Library, and another one is Trumansburg After School Program. And we chose these 3 different locations because they are located in 3 different places across the county, in Ithaca, Trumansburg, and Dryden. So we think it's a good chance for us to bring our students, bring our volunteers to, experience like different kind of like everyday life in the places outside of Ithaca. So yeah, I think this is where the program is going to be housed, and yeah, we're and all the program directors are very excited for us to be there, and the children will be more than excited as well. So, yes.
So you already hinted at who all is involved, and this is a very complex program, right? So we have the wonderful graduate coordinators who are here in the studio with us today. Obviously, we need community partners for that. You mentioned Cornell volunteers and also the youth participants. Can you talk a little bit more about what the role of the Cornell volunteers is in this program? And maybe also, what's the age range for the participants? Is there a specific limit?
What we want to achieve is actually we want to find the volunteer from the across the Cornell universities, right? So we're looking for everyone. Could it be the undergrad, graduate students, and everyone who wants to participate in this program is it's very welcome in this program. So, like what Thamora was saying previously, that we want to not to teach the kids about the language itself, but about how they are aware that there is a world out there outside of the where they are currently knowing. So with that goal in mind, so we want to get them to grasp all the knowledge from all of these volunteers. So if you guys out there really want to, just try to help us on how we want to expand the knowledge of the kids on the local community. So please join us and please check on the Flip website or under the Mario Einaudi Center.
I think the age range of the participating kids, at least in after-school programs, ranges from first grade through fifth grade, but more likely at about fourth grade is the cap that way, just in terms of kids who participate in after-school versus sports.
Sure.
Right. So kids who need some kind of supervision after school are generally the ones in these types of programs around the county. In the past, we've really focused it primarily on second and third grade. Those seem like a really fun age to work with. But when the events are held at public libraries, there's often a wider range of kids. Yeah. And so then the librarians that you work with will help kind of specify whether it's elementary. And there are some programs out in the libraries that might be looking for students who would want to work with middle school students or even teenagers. Depending on the language and if it's connected to some other topic that they're doing. So, for instance, if there's an anime club and there's a volunteer who's willing to do Japanese, there might be, interest that way. But the libraries are also excited to have events that are centered around certain cultural festivals or holidays. So there's ways to be involved that are kind of more extended, where you might go for a series of 6 or 8 teaching sessions. But as a volunteer, you could also say, this semester I'm a little busy. Maybe I could just do a one-off or buddy up with somebody else who speaks my language and go assist them one day so that I can bring my great idea or game that I know or song that I know to bear. And even for people who are just learning a language, we hope to buddy up so that you can really kind of bounce off of each other, learn from each other, and support each other.
Great. Tell us what happens in a flip session.
We're really open to having the volunteers come up with what they think will hit right with the kids. So if it's something that they're comfortable with and excited about, that's what they really should be doing. But generally, you learn things like, hello, my name is, basic greetings, right? The kinds of things that if you were to encounter someone, you'd want to be able to say. Or really important things like, where's the bathroom? Or please and thank you, right? And the trick, of course, is to make it fun and engaging. We try to do things, if these kids have been sitting in school all day, if there's some kind of physical activity or snacks or a game, something that doesn't feel like school would be another sort of structuring element of teaching in the program. But generally, you get an hour of time with them. So you don't have a lot of time to fill. And so you have to really plan it out and have your supplies ready. But all 3 locations are on TCAT bus routes. Yeah. And we provide bus passes. And if the timing is tricky, we'll try to help coordinate rides. So we're trying to make it as accessible as possible. And if we have a lot of volunteers, then we can expand to other organizations in downtown Ithaca that might be in walking distance or further afield if we have people who can drive places. So in the past, we've worked with, even places that are about an hour away where they're connected to what was the public service center doing other kinds of tutoring. So the sky's the limit. We can really, now that we're post-pandemic, or at least enough that the schools are operating post-pandemic, we can really get out there in the community, and we're looking for volunteers to contribute ideas about how to structure it. We're, and Irfan and Maks and even Chencong are new to it. But because we have a little bit of grant funding to relaunch the program, they're doing this, with kind of devoted time that is a job for them to really help coordinate the volunteers and do some of the initial legwork.
Great.
Yeah, I just wanted to add up on this, what just Thamora said. Why this program is also great, there is this opportunity to build up this program from the foundation. Basically, if you're, a volunteer in this program, for example, you can come to us, come to our office, and figure out the ways how to make this program better, figure out better places, new libraries, new schools, etc. Besides this, you also have this exposure to pedagogical experiences besides cultural exchange. So if that's something you're looking forward to, that's also a great opportunity for you. So yeah, as we all said, we're looking for new people to join this program, as there is many opportunities to grow, to become a better person yourself.
Yeah. Well, and you're already kind of hinting at this here, but can you guys maybe expand a little bit more on why programs like this are important? Thinking about, obviously, not only the cultural and language exposure for the children, but also maybe following up on what you just said, Maks, thinking about the value for the participants, like the adult participants, the volunteers, and also maybe what it brings for you personally, if you can talk a little bit about that.
Yeah, let me just jump on this. Being an international student myself in the country actually brings you a lot of challenges. And programs like this, you're able to get exposure to the community. And you actually, for example, you'll be able to better your English yourself.
Sure.
That's one of the most simplest things you can get from this program. Besides that, you're also gonna have better communication skills, because talking to kids takes some might be challenging from time to time. So that's something you can also work on. But yeah, based on my experience, having a program founded by school is very important, because you see that school cares about something like this, and you understand that it's actually something important to be international. Even though you may be local, you've never been out of the country, but
Sure.
being international means your point of view is broad enough to understand other people and make sure that you're acceptable to other people's ideas and point of views, which is, I guess, also a big thing in our program. So yes, that's one of the things, I guess, that programs like this bring to other lives.
So just want to follow up Max's point, and I feel like another thing which is very important is your relationship with the kids, and because we all know that when we were kids, we always look up to the bigger and older brothers and sisters who are hanging out around us, and we always feel fascinated by them. And if you join our program, you will be those older brothers and sisters who are who can serve as like the role model
That's
for the
nice.
kids. No matter what kind of role model you want to be. And it is like a very interesting dynamics, because I was a college volunteer for 4 years, and I feel like it's definitely like a very interesting relationship between me and the children. And they're not just like a student, or they're not just like a person that you see like every 2 weeks or every week, but they're also eventually they will become your friends, and then you establish like a long-term relationship with each other. Like some of them are still writing like cards to me, and some of them are still writing
Nice.
notes to me
Yeah.
at this point. So I think it's like a very interesting and very genuine relationship that you can have for your life.
Great.
How then can people learn more and get involved? And do you need to be a native speaker to participate as a volunteer?
First of all, you don't need to be a native speaker to volunteer on this, because we're really open to all of the students, and all of also, like Max said, it is part of your learning as well. So to better your language, and even it's English, like me, Max, and also Chencong here as well say that we're learning English. So we're not native speaker, and we can also speak to the kids to improve our language. If you want to join us in the FLIP program, so you can go to the Einaudi Center for International Studies. It's located in Uris Hall and near the Rusties. So you can go get your coffee, and then after that go inside to the Einaudi to get to know more about FLIP. Or you can check us out in the website. You go to the enaudicornell.edu. It's like EINAUDI .cornell.edu. So you go there, and then you can search for the FLIP, the Foreign Language Introduction Program, and hit us up.
Terrific. And we will include a link to that in our show notes.
Wonderful.
Yay.
Well, before we sign off, we'd like to ask each of you to share a word in a language that you speak, that you love, that you are learning, or that maybe you want to learn that makes you laugh.
I do have something.
Great.
It doesn't necessarily make me laugh, but that's something I really want right now. As the time goes to noon, I'm feeling a little hungry. So I just had this word. It's yizha. In Ukrainian, it means food. So yeah, that's something definitely gonna make me happy and laugh when I'm gonna have it. So yeah, it's yizha. If you wanna say I am hungry in Ukrainian, you should say я хочу їсти. So it basically translates as I wanna eat. Basically, I want to eat. Yeah. So that's something that gonna make me happy really, really soon.
Nice.
Ooh, I think we've got a theme going here.
Ooh, okay.
So I was going to say something in Thai, but I want to do something that in Thai and in Burmese you often say when you meet people is sabibila, which means have you eaten? Doesn't matter when or where, you always say sabibila, meaning have you eaten? And it's really just kind of like a check-in, like kind of like what's up, or you might not do it if you're not in a place where there's any food, but it's sort of that very hospitable, welcoming, just making sure that, if somebody's hungry or thirsty, you've checked in with them. So
We also have like very similar expression in Mandarin Chinese as well. We always say 你吃了吗? It means that did you eat? Did you eat yet? But it doesn't actually necessarily means they're asking you like if you eat or what do you want to eat. They're just checking you out. Like how are you? What's up? Like did you eat? It's like something which is like a very, very vernacular forms of like expressions. And I think it's really, really cute.
Nice. Well, Irfan, now it's on.
Yeah, so as others are speaking about eating and also eating, so there's this one sentence in Indonesian, in Bahasa Indonesia that we usually say when we're still on, trying to get close to someone. Like it's basically like have you eaten, like sudah makan belum? It's something like have you eaten yet? It's just like some sort of like a starter of the conversation for that. So sudah makan belum? Yeah.
Well, Sam and I definitely can get behind this theme here. So.
Yeah, well, I'm really enjoying the very positive connotation of all these. Thinking about food makes you happy, and I'm the same way. But also, anyone who knows me well knows the reverse is true. Or sort of if I go without food long enough, I become very unpleasant. So,
are you thinking of the word hangry?
Yes, that's not so much a word that makes me laugh, just a word that I identify with. Well, this was wonderful. Thank you so much for speaking of language with us, Thamora, Chencong, Irfan, and Maks.
Next week, we will talk about Bruno. Yeah. Well, more precisely, we will speak with Bruno Shirley, a graduate student in the Department of Asian Studies here at Cornell.
Tune in to hear about Buddhist sovereignty and accessible digital tools for students in the humanities, and maybe even more of Angelica singing. I sure hope so. Until then,
Auf Wiederhören.
The Language Resource Center is located on the ground floor of Stimson Hall on Cornell's main campus in Ithaca, New York. Check us out on the web at lrc.cornell.edu.
or follow Cornell LRC on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram.
Speaking of Language is produced by Angelica Kramer and Sam Lupowitz.
Recorded by Sam Lupowitz.
Original music by Sam Lupowitz, Dan Gable, and Joe Gibson.
Thanks also to the College of Arts and Sciences at Cornell University.
As a reminder, the ideas and opinions expressed on this podcast do not reflect those of the College of Arts and Sciences or any other official entity of Cornell University.
We thank our listeners, and do stay tuned for our next episode.